Wake up, be amazing, grab your daily Danish. Good morning. Hey, I'm Trainer Dane. If you're coming back to watch the recording, maybe it's the afternoon or evening, but either way, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for investing in yourself because it's amazing. My mission is to help you create your future without excuses. It's to challenge you to live the life you have while you build the life of your dreams. Every day is going to pass. It's what you do with that day that's important. You cannot change the past, but you can definitely create your future without excuses. I've been doing this for a long time. I was having a conversation recently, and one of my champions, that's what my clients are. You're not a number. You're not just this. You're not just that. You're not just a dollar sign. You, my friend, are a champion of health, wellness, dreams, future, hopes, and changing the world and leading one day, one action at a time. But she said, did you ever know when you went back to school at 29 years old, full-time with 3 kids, a mortgage, a spouse, a car payment, that you now would be officially the excuse eradicator, that you would have combined your personal training background, your high school, junior high, middle school coaching background to be the excuse eradicator, to show up every day. And that's one thing I will tell you, my friends, that I will show up every day, rain or shine, hot or cold. That, my friends, is a professional. But you've come here today to learn and to take action. So if you need to pause real quick or step away real quick, make sure you've got pen, paper. I tend to take all of my notes these days on my phone so that I can transcribe them. I can send them an email. I can copy, paste, redo, reuse, but whatever works for you. So what brings me here? It was a while back, actually. So I'm a big fan of coffee. It's my jam. I could drink it all day. Although when I was active duty, I said I would never be that guy. But every night before I go to bed, I get the coffee grinds. We used to grind the beans actually in the morning. So I have a coffee pot that I could set the time and it'll grind the fresh beans, but it'd wake the dogs up. And if I didn't jump right out of bed, which I do now, but I didn't back then, they'd start barking ready to go. But either way, I take the coffee filter, I scoop out the coffee grinds, I pour in the water, I push the button, little green button comes on. It says it's going to go off at 3:20 a.m. So when I get up at 3:30 a.m., my coffee is ready because I've done it and I've taken the time to create my future self. Now that's just a small sample, but that's what we're going to do today. So again, pen, paper, something to take notes. That's what I'm here for. I'm excited, by the way. I am going to share a presentation. I wasn't going to do that originally. I was just going to talk, and I didn't want for you to get lost or worried about writing things down. You'll have an opportunity to watch this again, to take notes again. But if you can just listen and you can participate, I can't see you necessarily, but you can verbally answer. You can take a moment and you can write things down while they're on your heart. But I did design a presentation so that you can see it, so that we can talk. But when I do that, you won't actually see me, but you will definitely hear me. And of course, I may stop in the middle, depending on how things go. I will be here at the end to tell you a thank you for being here. Time is the most valuable asset you have. You cannot create it. It is non-renewable. It is non-renewable. But ultimately, where did it come? There's a couple stories I'm definitely going to share today. And the first one is over 30 years ago. So I have a baby girl, and we love to dance. We love to sing. We've got music. It was long before Spotify, long before iPods. So we're probably just listening to the radio. And she was dancing around the living room, and Daddy is singing and dancing around the living room. I'm a rock and roll guy at heart. And she runs up to me, about 3 years old, curly hair, blue eyes, blonde hair. She puts her hands on my lap. She looks me square in the eye. And if you didn't pay attention to Kayla, she would grab your face and say, "You're not paying attention to me. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me." She asked me about girl singers. And I was kind of confused, like girl singers. I don't even know if I know any girl singers. I mean, there was Blondie, there was Pat Benatar back in the day, Joan Jett, but I didn't really do girl singers. But what it made me think was I needed to present a future for her of hope, dreams, love, so she could pursue anything that she wanted to be. And I was a sexist 24-year-old guy at that time. I didn't know any better. I just had never been challenged that way. And now you turn the clock 30-something years ahead. I have a granddaughter who's 8 years old. And she tells me every day, they call me Pop-Up. She says, Pop-Up, I'm going to be president of the United States. And that's the beauty of living outside of Washington, D.C. for 6.5 years. I'm like, baby girl, I will show up. I'll be your campaign manager, and I will definitely be there for you. But I want a vision. Whether she becomes a president or not is almost irrelevant. What it is casting a vision for her future with no excuses. And that's where we are today. So thank you so much. Give me just one moment. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to begin today's presentation. To be honest with you, I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm going to try to keep it under 30 minutes. If it goes a little longer, please stay with me because I get excited. If it goes a little shorter, then we went a little faster. But it's interesting because I thought about that in the presentation. We've been so conditioned anymore through Twitter or Instagram or whatever to say what we want to say, keep it really, really short without depth and breadth. Well, today you're here. You chose to be here for that depth and that breadth. So it's going to be more than 160 characters. It's going to be more than 60 minutes. So make sure you've got your cup. Make sure you're ready to rock and roll. And it's game on. And it, my friends, is time to go. It'll take just a moment. All right, so here we are today. You've come here to create your future without excuses. I've heard so many times in my lifetime, I can't do this, I can't do that. And recently, as we're standing here, we just had this immense snowstorm and it shut the world down and it really just jacked people up. They didn't know what to do. They survived it. They were blessed. But then Monday came, the snow melted and they were lost. They didn't know how to get back in. And so I would talk to them about creating their future. And they said I would start on Monday. And I was like, why are we giving up 96 hours of your life to wait till Monday? Make today your Monday. Make today your Monday. We're going to talk about three major points today. Three major points today that I believe will allow you to create your future without excuses. First, you must believe in yourself. You must believe in yourself as much as I do. And I guarantee you, whether you're here today, I believe in you and I believe you want to create a better life for yourself and your family. I need you to think big, bigger than you ever have. So many times when we teach, coach, goal setting, we tell you to be realistic. Screw that. I want you to dream big, dream off, and dream out loud and rock and roll. You want to climb a mountain, climb Kilimanjaro, let's go do it. Let's plan it. Let's see the future. You want to dance at your 50th wedding anniversary, let's keep you healthy. You want to dance at somebody else's wedding. You want to see your daughter graduate high school. You want to go visit your pawpaw who's 100 years old. Whatever it is, that's yours. Remember, as you create your future without excuses, these are your hopes, your dreams. They're not your mom's. They're not your dad's. They're not your tios. They're not your tias. They are 100% you. So much of this, I'm going to keep this slide right here. I just want you to listen. So I told you a story about Kayla almost 30 years ago. And about 8, 9, 10 years ago, I had a personal training studio in downtown New Braunfels, Texas. And we would always use the built environment, which means outside. That's really what I wrote my graduate school thesis on, was how to create better health and community through using the built environment. Roads, sidewalks, parks, recreation, community centers. It was just outside. It was a hot day, walking with one of my champions. We walked in, grabbed a towel, wiped her face, gave her some water. And I'm like, Susan, what are your dreams? Where do you want to go? If I asked you to dream big, dream often, and dream out loud, what would that look like? And she had no idea. She just paused. She stopped in her tracks. When I looked and came around to see her and looked, there were tears rolling down her face. And I asked her, what's wrong again? And she said, look, I've been Billy's mommy. I've been Mrs. Jones. I don't look or feel like I did 20 years ago. But I haven't dreamt for myself since I was married and since Billy was born. And it kind of took me back because I've always been a dreamer, believer, doer, visionary, but I'd never heard that before. And I said, you know what, Sue, I'm going to come back. We're going to talk about this. We're going to see how you can create your future, because we know together with your health, there's way more than 20 years of your life. We said goodbye. I went home. I got on the phone with some friends and fellow coaches, and I was just fired up and pissed off. I'm like, look, I'm going to start a damn Dream Academy. That's exactly what we're talking about here. So right now, my subscription group is Dream Academy, Create Your Future Without Excuses. Because I want everybody, no matter where they are. Now, Sue didn't begrudge taking care of her son. She didn't begrudge being Mrs. Jones. She loved that. She gave everything. But along the way, she forgot who she was. She forgot who Sue was, that little girl that used to play on the playground and be the princess or fight dragons or want to be a ballerina or whatever it is, or a rock star, a veterinarian, I don't know, or a doctor. And she made choices. And again, she didn't regret those choices. But now it was time to live her life again. So again, we're going to talk about three things, three major things, three ideas. Again, when you hear coaches all the time, and I've taught this before, SMART goal setting, it's specific, measurable, attainable, reliable, or realistic, and timely. There must be a timestamp. But today we're talking about casting a bigger vision. We're talking about casting a vision at a minimum of 5 years down the road. 5 years down the road, I had no idea I would officially be the excuse eradicator. I had no idea that I would have subscription groups. I had no idea that I would have following I did. I didn't plan it. Things just kind of happened. But now I know where I want to go, how I'm going to get there. I'm going to share that along the way. So think big. The time is now to not hold back. Don't let any self-limiting belief stop you. And I'm talking thinking big without time and money and other expectations. Your mom, dad, brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, nephews, nieces, Tia, Tio, it's all about you. It's time to think big and create your future. Remember, if you're going to aim high, you've got to aim high. If you aim low, I guarantee you'll be successful. Where I'm shooting the video today, the webinar today, there's a bunch of medals behind me. And many years ago, I did my first marathon. It was really because I was mad after the Boston Marathon bombing. And I wasn't going to be afraid. And then I realized when I finally crossed the finish line that the man that crossed the finish line was not the same man that started. And ultimately the reason that I did that marathon was, one, I wasn't going to be scared. And two, I needed to prove to myself that I was made to do hard things. And if I decided I was going to go run a mile, which is still monumental depending on where you are, that I would have shot too low. And to tell you along the way, that 26 miles, it was hard, it was brutal. But I never looked back, and I got to be in that 1% that crossed the finish line of a 26.2 marathon. Marathons are only 26.2. You must believe in yourself. You may have been told you can't. You may have been told you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, you don't come from the right family. But you, my friend, are an adult. You, my friend, get to do what you want, when you want, how you want it. Take responsibility. You are 100% in control of your effort and your attitude. I call that the Carter effect. Several years ago, I was in Houston doing an event for several days and met this little boy who loved baseball. He was 6, 7, or 8 years old. And we were going to go give like a rah-rah speech to his little league team. And his mom and I were talking about what to do. And he said, I want to talk about effort and attitude. That's what my coach tells me every day, that you're in control of your effort and attitude. And I've never forgot it. So sometimes the biggest lessons you'll learn are from children because they're listening. Remember, your spirit lies within you. I want you to look in the mirror and tell you believe in yourself, because I, my friend, believe in you. You must take action. Now the arrow on this screen is going down, but imagine it going up and being at the bottom of that hill and looking at it. And you could say, holy cow, that's freaking long. It's going to go on forever. It's going to be a challenge. You're going to run up it. You're going to cycle up it. Then you're going to be breathing heavily. But if you just stay at the bottom, you'll never take action. You must take action. Now, taking action doesn't mean we don't have forethought. It doesn't mean we don't think ahead. But what it means is you are going to take action. You're not going to wait till Monday. You're going to make today your Monday. Small steps done repeatedly will get you ultimately where you want to go. So I recently read, and this is why I'm asking you today to take my hand to create your future. So look at those marks. It says, the average American, this was in the book, and it actually is in Hal Elrod's book, The Miracle Morning, which I highly recommend if you haven't read it. But he says the average American is at least 20 pounds overweight, $10,000 in debt, slightly depressed, dislikes his or her job, and has less than one close friend. And if that is true, even part of that true, then we need a wake-up call. You need somebody, you need a community, you need something. And I'm asking you and I'm reaching out to you to take my hand to create your future so that all those things on the right, they may be your today, you who you are today, but that doesn't mean that's who you have to be tomorrow. So on your paper, in your phone, wherever you're writing, if you're willing to listen in, dig in, and take my hand, I want you to write the word yes with an exclamation point and underline it right now, because it's time to dig in, take my hand, move on, create your future without excuses. So here are your first things to begin to think about. It's what I call the 10-10-5 goal setting, or 10-10-5 create your future. Where do you want to be? What actions can you take in the next 10 days to create your future? I'm going to say it again. What actions can you take? Where do you want to go? And what can you achieve in the next 10 days to create your future? Why do we create 10-day visions, 10-day futures? Because they're to take immediate action. As soon as we're done today, and if you've written it down, you can start. You can start today. Day one. Day one starts right now. Now, you may not know right now. You may wait till the webinar is over, and that's fine. But remember, one of the 3 things we talked about today is taking action. Where do you want to be in 10 months? Where do you want to be in 10 months? As we stand here today, we're already in month 3 of 2021, right? It's already March. It seems like we just celebrated New Year's. We were just looking forward to a better year than last year when the world shut down, but our hopes and dreams didn't. Where do you want to be in 10 months? What does your future look like in 10 months? And remember, time is going to pass. It's what you do with that time that's important. 10-month futures, goals are to work on, where you can dig in, day out, dig in, day out, dig in, day out. Know that some days are going to be harder than others. Some days you're going to wake up and feel freaking amazing, ready to rock and roll and work on your goals. But you will not let one misstep tell you that you're not good enough, powerful enough, strong enough, and believe in yourself enough to get it done. What happens in that 10-month goal setting, future setting, creation, is we lose focus because it becomes mundane, becomes the same thing day in, day out, day in, day out. It's the same reason that exercise programs fail so many times. Dietary programs or changing your diet fails because it gets boring. You lose interest and you forget why you started. Well, that's why we're here, to create a community, to have somebody to be your excuse eradicator, so that I will keep you accountable. Your community will keep you accountable to your future self. Now let's think big. Let's take action. And where will you be in 5 years? So in 2016, I didn't know I'd be able to shoot a video or go live on Facebook or do Instagram stories or whatever those things were that helped me create and cast my vision of Danish. I didn't know I'd be able to create something where you're able to have a link that you could then get reminded to join the webinar right now. Had no idea. With my 5-year vision, and part of my 5-year vision actually kind of changed again when COVID hit, and like I said earlier, when the world shut down, but my hopes and dreams did not. It allowed me to sit out back on my back porch more times with my dogs in the morning, eat my breakfast, listen to the birds chirp, watch the little rabbit and squirrel run in the backyard, and the dogs try to chase them. Think, what do I want to do? Where do I want to be? And how do I want to get there? So I want to go see the world more. It's always been one of my things. I didn't have a passport until 2020. I was able to use it last year, went to Mexico, headed to the Dominican Republic in 2021 in the summer. The next 5 years, I want 10 more stamps in my passport. That's 2 trips internationally. In 5 years, I want to be creating my future and working with people just like you anywhere in the world. So I want to use the access. I want to be mobile. I want 80% or more of my income, my livelihood, my reach, my impact to be done on the web or whatever it's going to look like at that time. So that I can be in Paris, I can be back in Maui, which was an amazing trip. If you've never been there, I highly recommend going to Maui, Hawaii. Could it be in Belize? Could it be in Australia? It doesn't matter, because as long as you've got the web, you've got the reach. And I want to use that for good. Now, those are just a couple of a couple things that just popped into my head. So I mentioned my daughter. I mentioned my granddaughter. I actually have 3 grandchildren currently. And when my kids turned 10, my parents, their grandparents, took each one of them on a trip. A special time with just grandma, just papa, to experience something, create sticky memories, and something that they will remember forever. So the next 5 years, I will take all of the grandkids on a trip based on what they like, where they want to go, and what their future is. Which means also, because my granddaughter right now, Finn, I don't know what Declan and Ken actually want at this point, but she says she wants to go to Paris. Now, whether that's our trip or with her mom and dad, I don't know. But we always want to have experiences. That's what it's about. For me, it's not just about the Barbie doll, and there's great purpose for the Barbie doll and the Legos, right? They're all good and get to be creative, but I want to create experiences so the kids can talk about it. Lost my dad several years ago, and he absolutely loved the beach, loved the Texas Gulf Coast. And my kids, my adult children, still talk about every time they go to the beach, go to the Texas Gulf Coast, they think about their pop-up. And to me, it kind of chokes me up, but that's what I want to create. So here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Take a quick sip of coffee. What would it mean to create your future? Again, you can write these down. You can come back and rewatch this. What happens, or what would happen, if you didn't create your future? Your future, my friends, is going to happen no matter what. You can be in control, or life can control you. And I think the biggest question is, if you want to be somebody who takes control and takes possession of their life, is what are you willing to do to create your future? One of the things that we're going to talk about with your future is ultimately creating your own personal vision, right? And I know when I get here and I talk to you and I start my videos, whether we connected through Facebook or wherever we met, I'm going to say, wake up and be amazing. Grab your daily Danish. My mission is to help you, empower you to live the life you have while you create your future without excuses. Depending on where I am, it would say, wake up, be amazing. My mission to educate, motivate, and empower you to lifelong independent living. All of those things are important to me. And because I know that vision, I can get up every day with that vision, mission, and purpose. No questions asked, no excuses. I'm going to say them one more time. What would it mean for you to create your future? You also have to know what would happen if you don't create your future, and what are you willing to do to create your future? All right, so now it's time to dig in just a little bit. If you want to take a sip of water, if you need to stand up and stretch. But here are the questions in order to create your vision, create your future. Now, you're not going to have time right this moment, and maybe a couple of them are going to come to you right away, and that's fine. There is homework. I want to work with people that take actionable steps, that dig in with no excuses, that they know that when they fail, that they don't stop, that they get up and they keep moving and keep moving, keep moving. And you can be here today, and I want to thank you. But if you don't take action, if you don't think big and you don't believe in yourself, did you waste your time? Because I'm not here to waste my time or waste your time. What are 10 things that you enjoy doing? 10 things that without doing, your weeks, days, months, years would feel completely incomplete. Now, remember, and I've mentioned this before, these are things you enjoy doing, not mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, tia, tio, cousins, nieces, nephews, boss, coworkers, just you, that fill your heart with joy, that make you smile, that you get up and you look forward to, that you don't roll your eyes and you don't sigh, oh, I don't want to freaking do that. I want to do this. I want to do it. It brings joy into my heart. whether it's spending time with family, whether it's reading, whether it's running, whether it's climbing a mountain, whether it's writing, whether it's painting, whether it's singing, whether it's playing guitar. I have no idea. Because remember, this is about you. This is about you. I'm going to ask you again, what are 10 things, my friend, that you enjoy doing? And be completely honest, and there are no wrong answers. Okay, so you've written 10 things. Because remember, we're going to create your future. What does it look like and what's important to you? I believe we have to know what our core values are. I'm going to define core values. And at the end of the day, it's really, what do you believe in? What's important to you? Why is it? And we'll talk. I've got a list coming up on the screen. What's important to you? Health, wealth, integrity, faith, love. Those are values, and they don't really waver. They can alter a little bit, maybe because you become, we just age a little bit, we mature a little bit, and you'll learn more, and you'll dig more, and maybe your values become deeper and bigger. But what are your core values? So on your paper, you can write values. I'm going to challenge you to write 10 core values. 10 core values. 10 core values. Let's talk about your values. Why do we want to have mission, vision, and values? Because when you do, it's going to help you pursue your job. It's going to help you decide if you want to start a business. It's going to help you decide whether to take a promotion. It's going to help you say yes or no when somebody asks you to do something. It's going to help you say, do I want to follow tradition, or what path do I want to take in the future? Because you know who you are. You know what you love to do. You know what your values are. And when they join together, it's easy to say yes or no. If it gives you that icky feeling when you're asked to do something you're thinking, then the answer is no. And you don't have to apologize for saying no. And many of us were bred to say yes and be helpers, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you've got to know what your mission, vision, and values are in life. And maybe you've never thought about them before, and that's why you're here, and that's okay. We all have to have a day one. We all have to a day one. And remember, the key is, why did you decide to sign up today for today's webinar, to join me, Trainer Dane, your excuse eradicator, to talk about creating your future without a vision? So your values, what are your top 10 values? When you talk about your values, I'm going to kind of go on the slide from left to right. What made you the happiest? Let's talk about your vision. What ultimately put a smile on your face? That you laughed so hard you almost wet your pants, or that you cried a little bit, or that you laughed so hard telling a story with your girlfriend or your mom or your dad or your cousin, and you're laughing, and the rest of the people around you have no idea what you're talking about. They have no idea, but you know the punchline. Do you remember it? And you had a sticky memory, right? When were you the happiest? Come on, I know that my family, I know the ladies always sit around at the table at the holidays, right? And they start to tell a story about something they did, and like 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences or words in, they start laughing, and the rest of us who weren't there have no idea what they're talking about. But they were happy and have a memory that lasts a lifetime. When were you the proudest? When did you feel good about yourself? What did you achieve? What did somebody tell you that, again, made you just feel warm and fuzzy? And I believe when you were the happiest, when you were the proudest, you will know when you were the most fulfilled. When did you walk away from something you did, or an event that you participated in, or a family event, or school? When did you feel fulfilled? When did you feel like you knew that was right where you're supposed to be? I believe it was Mark Twain said the 2 most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you learn why. Let's say it again. And like I said, I may be misquoting it. I don't have it in front of me today or on the screen, but I believe it was Mark Twain that said the 2, and that's why you're going to create your future without excuses. The 2 most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you learn why. I'm going to ask you again. Again, you can come back and watch the video and get the questions. You can screenshot right now. When were you the happiest? When were you the proudest? And when were you the most fulfilled? a little crazy there. See if I can go back here. There you go. So that's it. Pride, happiness, fulfillment. Pride, happiness, fulfillment. You can say those over. We need to come up with an acronym for that or something maybe. All right, so we talked about their 10 values, right? So I wanted to paint a picture of pride, happiness, fulfillment. When are you the most happy? When do you find the most joy? And here are just a few things when you talk about values. What are your values? Hope, service, responsibility, integrity, honesty, loyalty, health, wealth, growth, knowledge, compassion. Those are just a few examples. And I said some that aren't on the screen, and that's okay. But what's important to you? 10 things. 10 things. On this list on here right now, I'm going to look real quick. I'm actually start from the bottom. So integrity to me is one of the most important things because I'm blessed that I have influence, and I know with influence comes responsibility, and I never take that lightly. So that's one of my, number one, right? Ambition is important to me. Loyalty, honesty, freedom, trust. Pretty much the reason that these are on here, because these are mine. I know there's more than 10. I would have to eliminate them. But this is how I live my life, how I come to you right here. That is my list of top values. I should have cut it down to 10, I guess, because that's what I asked you. But I sat there, I stood there, I walked around, and I've done this before. I didn't know how to eliminate them. So what are your values? I'm going to take a deep breath real quick. Fulfillment, happiness, right? Right, let's go back. Let's just go back real quick. I just had a thought. So we talked about the values and what's important. I actually going to challenge you to write 10 values. But at the end of the day, it's really what brought you pride, what brought you happiness, what brought you fulfillment, and it's time to go on. So again, take a drink, stand up. Ultimately, all of that was to get to step one. Not really sure why my slides are going backwards. So now you know what your 10 values are. You know what brought you pride, fulfillment, and happiness. And I'm going to talk about the dimensions of life. So there's no real slide after this about the dimensions of life. But I come up with an acronym. It's really that two. It wasn't able to make it superscript. So it should be E squared, IOP squared. There are 7 elements of health and wellness. And the big picture of your vision, of your future, of your success, of your hope, of your dreams in your life. So the 7 elements are health and wellness. That's emotional health, environmental health, intellectual, occupational, physical, social, and spiritual health. There actually should be an S after that P. E squared, IOP squared. So if you want to write it down, emotional health. Right? How do you feel emotionally? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you depressed? Environmental. Where are you? What does your environment look like? Work, home, right? Emotional environment. Intellectual. What are you putting into your brain? Are you reading every day? I challenge you. And as a champion in our Dream Academy, create your future without excuses. One of the fundamentals, one of the non-negotiables is to read 10 pages a day, every day. Because the more you put into your brain, the better you can think, the more depth and breadth you'll have. So E squared, emotional, environmental, intellectual health. We talked about that. Reading. Occupational. What are you doing for a living? Is it what you want to do? Is it bringing you joy? Is it bringing you joy? Physical health. Without your health, nothing's possible. With your health, everything is possible. Everything is possible. Social. Who are you hanging around with? My dad would have said, if you lie with dogs, you get fleas. I like to make it a little bit more positive than that. And I'll say, you are the product of the 5 people you hang around the most. And then spiritual health. Whatever your divine being is, does that bring you joy? Are you connected? I always say emotional and spiritual health on opposite ends because I believe it's what you do in the middle that brings you the most joy and allows you to create your future without excuses. So E squared, IOP squared. I'll say it one more time. Emotional, environmental. Those are your 2 E's. Your IOP is intellectual, occupational, physical. And like I said, it should say S2 there, would be social and spiritual health. So those are the dimensions we're creating our future. It's time to create your future without excuses. It's your future. It's your future. Later on, I'm going to give you an analogy, a little story about the difference between an excuse and a reason. So I'm going to use fitness in that. So if you tell me that you can't run because you have a broken leg, that, my friend, is a reason. If you tell me you can't run because you don't have time, that's an excuse. So we're in the no excuse zone here. We're not going to give excuses. We're not going to take excuses. We're going to surround ourselves with people that have a no excuse attitude. So we're going to think big, believe in yourself, and take action. Look, the reason we're here today is I challenge you. I want you to stand out. I want you to be uniquely you. I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to take all those self-limiting beliefs and flush them down the toilet. I want you to stand out in a crowd because you're creating your future. I really believe, unfortunately, most people just exist. They eat, they sleep, they use the restroom, they put it on repeat. Well, to me, that sounds pretty freaking boring. It's not who I want to hang around with. It's not the kind of people and the impact I want to make. So I challenge you to be yourself, be uniquely you. I really struggle with that word today. Uniquely you. Don't water yourself down. Live life 100 proof. Hey, so I've given you lots to do today. Got a couple more slides, and I'm going to take that off and talk, and I'm going to invite you to continue this journey. So there's the story right at the bottom. If you have a broken leg, you can't run. If you don't have time, that's BS. That's an excuse. I want to stay in contact with you. I'd love to know what you've decided and how you're going to create your 10-day, 10-month, and 5-year futures. That's my email. That's my Instagram account. That's my private invite-only Facebook group, Art of Living an Amazing Life. All you have to do is ask to be there, and I'll let you in. Hey, that's me telling you I am grateful for the opportunity today to present to you. I'm inviting you today, and you're going to get an email after this to invite you to join the Dream Academy. And as a bonus, you're going to get a one-on-one session with me. So together we can talk about, and if you want to do it on Zoom, we can do it so I can see you. A one-on-one session to set you up for success, to take immediate action on that 10-day goal, building that dream to that 10-month goal or future, and then your 5-year goal. So at the very bottom on the right here, I'm actually going to stop the share. I'm going to stop the share because I want to say it out loud. And then I'm going to invite you. And I'm going to let you go. And I want to thank you so much. So today, here's your immediate action challenge. One of my favorite personal development books is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. And one of my favorite quotes in that book, I'm going to challenge you to say it in the mirror, is that there's only one of you. There's only going to be one of you. And that makes you pretty damn special. Now, I guarantee you, if you have children, if you have nieces, nephews, and close young friends, friends with young children, you would tell them that. There's only one of you. There'll only be one of you. It makes you pretty damn special. Now, why as an adult do we struggle saying that? And that's why we're going to create our future. So I invite you to join me, to continue to work deeper, to join the Dream Academy, and create your future without excuses. We have a private app where at least 2 days a week, you get information, challenge, and exercises and motivation to keep you focused. It's individualized. The answers come directly to me so that we can have a connection, a deeper connection. We have a private Facebook community where we get to talk. We end every single night with a yay for the day. One of the fundamentals is that each and every day, as you wake up, you're going to list 1 to 5 things that you are grateful for. You start with an attitude of gratitude. You end the day with a yay for the day, an attitude of gratitude. So you wake up the next morning with a smile on your face. We're going to talk about E squared, IOP squared. We're going to talk about joy, happiness, fulfillment. We're going to talk about all those things. We're going to know that you've got to dig in every day, and you're going to learn to not give excuses. You're going to take action. You're going to take action. Hey, I'm almost at 40 minutes. So that's plenty of time. I said at the beginning, I wasn't sure exactly how long it was going to go. So I want to thank you for your time. I want to challenge you today to text somebody right now as soon as I say goodbye. Tell them that you're thinking about them and expect nothing in return. Go be amazing. I hope to connect. I hope we continue to work together. But no matter what happens, take action on the steps today to think big, believe in yourself, and take action. Have an amazing day.